Welcome back to Yoshi Entertainment, everybody. So as we all know, lately there's been a lot of controversy and a lot of mess concerning TikTok and whether or not the app is going to be allowed to stay within American usage, if you will. Now, both the current president and former president both want the app banned. I don't know why, but people keep seeming to forget this. And the reason behind them agreeing to want TikTok to be banned in the first place, as they alleged and claim, was because, as they alleged and claim, the Chinese government was spying on American citizens, which is, like I mentioned, whenever I talked about the first time when they claimed they were going to ban TikTok, that is very much the pot calling the kettle black, because it's real interesting. If any of you have noticed, you get on Instagram and you're looking at pictures of dresses from Shein or sneakers from Nike, and then all of a sudden you travel to Facebook and all of a sudden there's more pictures of dresses from Shein and sneakers from Nike with links below to follow. So clearly, if they are spying on the American citizens, they're not the only ones. Now, I said before, once again, in that video, the real reason why they wanted to ban TikTok, why a lot of people thought they really wanted to ban TikTok, was because, well, one, all the information that was being spread amongst people on TikTok so comfortably that was very controversial, a lot of truth that they called conspiracy theories, and also because there are a lot of people forsaking this horrendous employment system that we have in America to make a better life for themselves on TikTok. They didn't like that. The capitalism of America didn't like that. Now, allegedly, they shut it off before they were supposed to, or before what was agreed to, and it only stayed off for about 12 hours. Then, I guess it was offline, if I'm not mistaken. They brought it back, but you can't re-download it if you've already deleted it, if I'm to be understanding this correctly, unless they changed that recently. Now, the reason I first reminded everybody that both Biden and Trump wanted it banned is because people are treating Trump like he's some kind of savior, like he's their Lord and Savior because TikTok is back up. Once again, he wanted it banned to begin with. People are saying, oh, he saved TikTok. There was actually a guy, I don't know if it was a real video, I don't know if it was an ad, or if this guy actually wrote he saved TikTok on the back of his car that he was driving around, all in support and to praise Trump for bringing the app back. Now, you can say this is my opinion. Oh, that's not true. You're doing too much. But I don't believe that that's how politicians work. If he brought the app back, it was for his own reasons, not because he wanted the American citizens to enjoy having an app that changed everybody's life and that they were spreading around information that they don't want people to spread around. But like I said, the attitude surrounding this and him being credited with saving the app is very disturbing to me, because you also have people who don't care for the app and social media at all, basically rubbing it in the faces of other people with this kind of, oh, be grateful he gave y'all's little app back attitude. How do you expect people to respond once again when they have an app that they were able to use to once again change their life and not settle for the hell they were going through, especially with the employment system that we have in America that too many people is familiar with? And then this happens after he was one of the main people who was for banning it for goofy reasons that everybody knows are goofy. And now he's giving it back. What it seems like to me is he's playing with people's emotions. He's playing games. I don't think he's trying to be helpful. I think he has an agenda here. Now, if I am to understand the reason why TikTok got banned, booted out of the different platforms such as Google Play and the Apple Store, is because whenever they signed the agreement all those months ago, it was a set in stone agreement that if the owner of the company called ByteDance, who was over TikTok, the Chinese-based company, did not find somebody who was American to either replace them, or there was some kind of agreement that they could come into for it to be mostly an American-owned business for TikTok, then it would be banned. Allegedly, like I said, if I've ascertained everything correctly and if I've gathered all the correct information, he had to find an American owner to sell this to in order to keep it from being banned in America, which, as you all can see, did not happen. Remember, he made a video. It was actually a non-Chinese owner who was just over the Chinese-based company called ByteDance, who basically said, I don't agree with this. And he's saying he's going to ban the app in America if we don't sell to an American and all this kind of stuff. Like I said, this didn't happen, which is why whenever the time limit, if you will, ran out, very ironic considering it's called TikTok, they had to ban it. And basically all of these other platforms, as I said before, like Google Play Store and the Apple App Store, they had to also take the app out of their stores. Otherwise, they would be in direct opposition to this ban that they set in place that was legal. So they would be in an illegal standpoint if they would have kept TikTok in their stores, which they were not about to do. Now, while there were a lot of people, especially the younger people, who were very in support of keeping TikTok, there are a lot of people who were against it. There are a lot of people who didn't like the app. They felt like it was really like a trap. There was actually somebody, I think right here on YouTube, who made a whole video talking about how it is actually set up to suck you in and make you addicted. Now, if they could change that somehow, that would be great, but we all know that that's not how apps work. They all have an agenda. There's a algorithm. We all know this. They have ways that they work to keep people using them again. It's like stores. They have ways to keep people, sucked into whatever they're selling and coming back. I'm also putting that out there so people can understand that I don't just think that the app is this great, wonderful thing. Yes, it has some advantages to it, although there's also a lot of things that need to be fixed about it. There's a lot that goes crazy on that app. Now, some more information, and I quote, with this executive order, Trump is expected to delay enforcement of the ban to give TikTok parent company ByteDance more time to find an American owner, end quote. Pretty self-explanatory, but to sum it up a little bit more, basically he's giving more time for them to find an American owner before it is completely banned. Now, once again, I feel like they're playing games. We don't even know. That time could pass and he could find some other reason to do something. He could decide to ban it completely altogether. They might not even find an American owner. Once again, if they don't, and these companies that host the app or that can host the app try to defy the ban and try to host it anyways, can receive serious penalties for being in opposition to essentially a law now. So no one should really get their hopes up, let me be blatantly honest. And also because apparently, allegedly, there are Republicans that work directly with Trump who are in direct opposition of saving the app, going so far, allegedly, according to this article, as to reminding them of what they could be risking if they decide to still go through with, once again, hosting this app, allowing people to have access to it even after the ban. And the craziest part about all of this is they were talking about, once again, we want to sever ties as much as we can with China. We don't want to depend on China. They're spying on us this, they're watching us that. But the guy who's the CEO or over TikTok, he's not even Chinese. Now, ByteDance is a Chinese-based company, but the guy who's over TikTok, he's not Chinese. He's actually from Singapore. Now, let me show you. This is really sad, y'all, when you think about it. And it really shows a lot of the stupidity and ignorance, I'm blatantly saying it, of a lot of Americans. Let me show y'all a little conversation between the CEO, the Singaporean CEO of TikTok, and a U.S. senator, you heard me correctly, from just last year. Once again, an alleged conversation between a U.S. senator, and that U.S. senator is Tom Cotton, who had an exchange with the TikTok CEO, Mr. Chu. And I quote, the Arkansas Republican repeatedly grilled Chu about his associations with China and communism. End quote. And I think this was during the time where they were really making a big noise about this, so to speak. Oh, is this person connected to China? Is he into communism, etc., etc.? Once again, just take a listen to this conversation. And I quote, have you ever been a member of the Chinese Communist Party? Asked Cotton. Senator, replied Chu, I'm Singaporean. No. Have you ever been associated or affiliated with the Chinese Communist Party? No, Senator. Again, I'm Singaporean. Of what nation are you a citizen? You get the gist, end quote. So I don't know if this guy failed world geography or if this is just a stereotypical case of American racism ignorance. Because I see a lot of this happening also in real life where you'll have people, Americans, putting everybody Asian in China. Japanese people, Koreans, Filipinos, they'll literally label all these people Chinese. Now, some people will argue, or maybe they just didn't know by looking at them. But there are some people, a whole lot of people, make no mistake, who are intentional with it because they just want to be disrespectful and racist. How many times have you seen somebody call somebody who's quite clearly Japanese Chinese on purpose? We're not going to sit up here and act like this doesn't happen, because it has, and it continues to do so. They're too ignorant to actually learn, and they don't want to. This is the case a lot of times with Americans. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, once again, let me make this clear, that the idea or the talking point or the belief that China could be spying on us through the app is crazy. I'm not saying that that's crazy. I'm not saying it's a conspiracy theory. Y'all should know how I feel about that on this channel. Honestly, I believe that that's something that very well could actually happen. I've told y'all before on this channel, I believe that anything could happen. Anything is capable, so to speak. Although what I'm saying, though, is if you're going to present that point, at least don't come from an ignorant disposition, because it ruins your ability and your chances of getting the point across. Also, don't be a hypocrite. Going back to the pot calling the kettle black, that's another thing that makes it hard to get something across or to even start a conversation about something that's actually really important to talk about. Now, allegedly, there are already some potential American buyers. One of the main reasons why, allegedly, and according to this article, they didn't want to sell the app is because that reason I was talking about earlier, them being able to wheel people in and get them hooked for hours, just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and they are monetizing off of that attention. They have a particular algorithm. They have a particular way that they know how to do this. Apparently, allegedly, it's very lucrative. And also, allegedly, the potential American buyers may change that if they can get their hands on the app. Now, some people, once again, think that that might actually be a good idea. Of course, it'll definitely change how people use it, and it may even cause people to stop using it altogether. Although, once again, I'm not a fan, nor have I ever been, nor will I ever be, of people being addicted to a social media app. That's not healthy at all. And I think there is a way they can change it to keep people still engaged without making them addicted. But will they actually do it? That's the golden question. Once again, if there is an American buyer who successfully purchases it, I think still there will be a catch-22. And that catch-22 is that they're going to change a whole lot, not just with the whole algorithm and wheeling people in and making them addicted, but they're going to change things, I believe, to either censor a lot of what people can say or change it to where they can't monetize as much as they have been in the past. I really do believe it's going to be a catch-22 to this. Now, allegedly, there have been talks that Elon Musk is one of those potential buyers. I hope for the love of all that is good, he is not. Nobody wants him to have that app except maybe himself. I really hope he doesn't buy it. I'm going to be real blatantly honest with y'all. There's a list of people who would be the worst individuals to own that app as the American CEO. He's at the top of that list. I said what I said. Now, one thing I think people should really be observing, I kind of hate to put it this way, but what it seems like to me is it's almost like there are people dividing themselves. Remember I said there were people who were for the ban, there were people who were against the ban. It almost would seem like a 50-50 split to me. It's mostly the younger demographics. Not that there aren't older people on TikTok who have monetized off of their content, but it seems like most of the younger individuals and demographics that are really for TikTok being saved versus the older ones that are like, no, y'all need to do away with that goofy app. And a lot of these people in this younger demographic, what people need to understand is that, once again, they have found a place, somewhat of an outlet, if you will, where they can make contact with other people. They can formulate different groups. They can be heard. They can be seen. They can post content. They can do it with comfort. A lot of people were talking about how comfortable people are on TikTok in ways that they are not on other platforms. It's part of the reason why so much information gets spread around the way that it does. And also that a lot of people, they were going to dead-end jobs, punching the clock, if you will, dealing with a lot of stuff that they should not have to deal with, that the usual American citizen has to. But when they got on TikTok, they were able to make a better life for themselves. And I'm all for it. Now, not if they're out here making videos about negativity and, a bunch of abusive stuff and abusive rhetoric and whatnot. But y'all know what I'm talking about. People were monetizing on their content on TikTok. Once again, I'm here for it. Like, if you don't have to go to a job where you're not respected, you're undervalued, underpaid, overworked. If you dropped unalive today, working on their jobs, they're not going to take accountability. They're going to fight the accountability. They're not going to care. They're just going to replace you with somebody else who could possibly end up going through the same thing as well. There are people, they get hurt on the job, and a job who was completely responsible for how that person got hurt refused to pay them workers' comp. People be taking off time that they have worked up, they deserve, and the company at the last minute tells them, oh, you can't take off for the stupidest reasons, and be ready to fire people over time that they have earned rightfully. Don't want to pay people out their PTO. People be going through a lot at these little raggedy workplaces that the government and our society has done nothing and will do nothing to fix. So once again, if they can find an alternative that's not illegal to make money, to make a better life for themselves, I'm all for it. Now, some people say you should have a job on the side just in case you lose that one, like what happened to TikTok. Although it's hard to do content and work a full-time job at the same time, which is why a lot of people quit their 9-to-5s to do TikTok full time. People are just trying to make a better life for themselves. You got a lot of people on here being real mean and nasty to these people simply because they found a better way to do it. Really, it's just a lot of people being mad because you worked smarter and not harder. You were able to find this app and do something. You found something you could do to make money low key. A lot of people are not happy due to the fact that they weren't able to do the same, which is why a lot of these people want TikTok to be banned. Make no mistake, some of these people are mad because of the money that these people on TikTok are making, and these companies are mad. That's why they want it out of the way. Let's just be blatantly honest. Let's keep it a buck. Let's not lie and play in people's faces about the truth. Now, this person on YouTube talked more about that particular issue, a little in depth. And I quote, I genuinely think it's weird that people are like, well, get a job. For successful creators, that is their job. How are you that hateful? You don't give that same energy to the standard 9-to-5ers who have the unfortunate circumstances of losing their jobs. Yes, they can look for another one, but it still sucks and they can be sad about it. I've seen people with a regular job get upset about getting fired / laid off. What is the difference? I would never be that lacking in empathy to someone who lost their job. Y'all act like they don't pay taxes. LOL. Also, for those of you that are claiming to be old school, I hope you truly all are prepared for the shift that will inevitably happen with AI if it has an effect on your livelihood. It will be an uncomfortable one for many, but a shift nonetheless. Nothing is ever guaranteed with any of this. Not this country, not the dollar, life, not any of it. Please don't feel comfortable shunning these people when you could just as easily be next. End quote. And all of that is 100% true. Now, I agree some people, they were going a little overboard. But I don't blame a lot of them for crying on there because a lot of them were making some good money. I don't think y'all understand. And all that went poof overnight because they wanted to ban the app. Once again, made a better life for themselves, all for some rich politicians who don't have to worry about what they do, erased all of that for reasons, again, that are still questionable to me. Then on top of all of that, you have random people who these individuals have done nothing to, laughing at them, mocking them, scoffing them, telling them, oh, just go get a job. It's not that easy. You get fired somewhere, you're working, and you try to go get another job, and you end up having to go somewhere you never had experience before. Tell me how easy that's going to be. You can't, because it's not. For them to mock these people and act like it's so funny watching them cry over lost income from a job that they have created for themselves is disgusting. I told y'all before, our society, our community has an empathy lacking problem. They lack empathy towards other individuals. And all why? For what reason? A lot of it, like I said, is really just jealousy. They're mad because these people found a different way to do things. And they were making good money in ways that other people have never seen. Oh, they're out here standing in front of a camera, making more money than I do going to my 9-to-5. And I've been building up money little by little, barely scraping along. How come they get to do this? How come they get to make all this money? And for anybody who doesn't understand it, it's more than just standing in front of a camera. Oh, it's so much more than that. And that is why some of these people can't understand why they make the kind of money that they do. Now, is there some other things that go into it? Of course. But again, this is another instance, another situation we can observe how disrespectful some people will be and lacking in empathy over certain situations. People will say, oh, well, we shouldn't throw stones at people if they can make a better life for themselves in ways we never could because they have something that we don't, some kind of knowledge or ability. But then when people do that, you see how people really feel. You see how they really think about that. They were never really there for people. They were never really, oh, I'm so happy somebody else managed to make it instead of me. I wish we all would have made it, but I'm not going to throw stones. Oh, no, they're going to absolutely throw stones the moment they get the chance to. And once again, a bad idea to do because those very same people could find themselves in the same predicament literally tomorrow. Like that one person said, all it takes is for one employer to say, you know what, I'm going to lay you off now because we have AI, we have robots. They don't require health care. They don't require workers' comp. They don't require PTO. They can work. I can act crazy with them, do all kind of stuff and not risk either a lawsuit or an HR complaint. You can go now. Clean out your desk, clean out your locker, clean out your cubicle. Goodbye. Don't come back. I've said it before. I'll say it 1,000 times more, I'm sure, on this channel eventually. You reap what you sow, and you shouldn't mock or scoff what somebody is going through that you have not gone through, that you're not going through, because you wouldn't want them to do that to you if you ended up in that situation. Now let's talk about making humor despite being in a bad situation. Now the comedian Kev on Stage posted this picture that somebody created. Y'all know people are always going to do the most in these situations. Ticonia toxin. In loving memory of, then this obituary, if you will. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty comical. Like I said, it's a good thing that people can find humor, even in a situation that upsets them or angers them. Oh, don't forget about the pallbearers, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, Lemonade. I will always call it Twitter and Threads. They even had a whole order of service. Like I said, I will admit, quite the comical thing indeed. Also, Kev on Stage on Threads posted, and I quote, TikTok and the big app store in the sky, right along with Vine. But didn't stay there for long, apparently, because not long after that, that was when they did this. He also posted on Instagram, and I believe this 100%, I don't care what anybody says. And I quote, you can't make me not believe that he made sure they actually turned it off so he could turn it back on, end quote. I don't know who needs to hear this, but I do not hate Trump. I don't think he's the worst person in the world. Do I think he's done some stuff that he definitely could have kept? Oh, absolutely. Although, once again, I've seen too many things happening with these politicians, with these presidents. I cannot act like I don't know that whenever these things happen, whenever this kind of stuff is going on, this kind of mess is taking place, that there's something deeper behind it. It could just very well be the catch-22 I was talking about earlier, but there's always something deeper going on. Anyways, I did want to end this video on a bit of a brighter note. Y'all let me know what y'all thinking, how y'all feel about all of this down in the comments below respectfully. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Y'all all have a very blessed, beautiful, and safe day.